So the early years of my life, I grew up by a lake and I thought fresh water was absolutely the best. And then I went to the ocean and all I wanted to do was live by the ocean. So I lived by the ocean for 2 years and then I eventually came back to the freshwater lake and felt particularly grateful for it. But then recently I moved away from the freshwater lake and moved by the rivers. A part of me felt like I was giving up the best part of summers, which was being on the beach, by the lake, in the park, hanging out with all my friends and family. And then I moved to the city of rivers, thinking that it was gonna suck because who goes swimming in these rivers anyway? They're so dirty and that's not gonna be me. And then I got a paddleboard and this insane love and appreciation for what's behind me, this beautiful river, struck a chord in me. It's just incredible what water does and the element of living near water and how it affects our brain, our human psyche. For me, water is just such a poetic inspiration, and every time I'm on the water, near the water, by the water, looking at the water, listening to the water, I feel incredible mental clarity. So recently I've been contemplating the philosophy of the path of least resistance, and this philosophy particularly comes from water, in which it flows, finding the path of least resistance, moving through the rocks and not going where it's hard to go, but just flowing. The issue with this philosophy as a human being is if you go always the path of least resistance, you might amount to nothing in life and contribute zero value to society. And the other day when I was paddleboarding, the wind was kicking hard and the river was flowing the opposite direction that the wind was flowing. Normally, I go the opposite direction of the river to start, so that way it's easy for me to just flow back. But this time, the wind on top of the surface of the water was more intense than the river flowing, and it was pushing me in the direction of the wind. And so I started my paddleboarding journey off in the same direction as the wind, thinking, this is super easy. This is actually really easy, potentially too easy. So I began my journey heading into the wind with the flow direction of the river, and it was hard. I was fighting against the wind and the river really wasn't carrying me that much because the wind was stronger at this time. But once I eventually turned around and was tired, I let the wind carry me back to my destination and I had to do little paddling. So on the topic of the path of least resistance, I think it is a great philosophy to put into our life at certain times. It depends when it is a beneficial time for you to use that philosophy to your benefit. In the instance of starting something new, going down the path of least resistance isn't going to be beneficial for you. Doing what is hard and starting off going in the route against the wind is going to make it easier for you when you're coming back, when you are finally able to enjoy your hard work of allowing yourself to flow back with the wind, right? Just like how I was doing on the paddleboard. If I would have gone in the direction of the path of least resistance, which is the way that the wind was blowing me, coming back would have been a struggle. And potentially I would have been so tired, I could have burned out. So when the motivation is high and when the inspiration is kicking and when you start something fresh and you have that fire burning motivation, determination, and just ambition rolling all in your side, I challenge you to not take the path of least resistance, but to do what is hard, to do what is difficult, to do what others are not doing, because to have what others don't, you have to do what others won't. So travel in the path of most resistance in the beginning, and once you put in all your hard work, then you can relax, let go of the oar, and travel the path of least resistance.
Oh, 'cause I just want to see how beautiful you are. You know. My forearm is fucking you're a star. Where you go, I'll follow, no matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part, baby. Oh. oh, you're the best part. Oh, oh, best part. It's that sunrise and those brown eyes. Yes, you're the one that I desire.
Yeah, close pretend it's not there.
When we wake up, you can't even hear me, can it?